everybody. I've got senior guard Shay Ciezki here. Go ahead and use the raise your hand function for questions for Shay. Savannah, go ahead.
Shay, at the beginning of Big Ten play, you guys kind of struggled to close out kind of these close Big Ten games, especially with such a young roster. What kind of development has gone on over the past month-ish to kind of get you to kind of close out these Big Ten games a little bit better?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a pressure for us to win these games, and we feel it. A big goal for us is to obviously make it to the Big Ten tournament. So that was just probably our biggest motivation these last couple games, just to dig down and stay focused and get what we want. So I think that extra pressure has helped a lot of people to step up, and give more towards the end of the season.
Seth, go ahead.
Yeah, you guys obviously had some turnover trouble first half tonight. 14 turnovers in the first half. I think only four in the second half. What changed for you guys? How did you guys flip that switch?
Yeah, I don't think it was anything too crazy. I think it was just kind of coach coming in at halftime and saying her piece for sure. That kind of made us start to realize that all right, we got to clean things up a little bit. I think we came out slow, but it was good that we kind of rallied together and kept the main thing, and made sure that we took care of the ball down the stretch.
It feels like you individually are always kind of in the spotlight and hitting these big shots, stepping up really in the fourth quarter of games. How are you able to kind of lock in crunch time when it really matters the most?
Yeah, I just kind of just keep saying things in my head, making sure that I'm just always locked in each play. I think I have this next play mentality though. If something doesn't go right, one play, I'm automatically thinking about how can I help the team the next play. I think that just heightens, each quarter, just how the game closes out. So, yeah, I just probably say just all mental, honestly.
Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, tonight Maya has 19 points. She knocks down 4 3-pointers. Nevaeh has 14 with her. Just what have you seen out of the freshmen this season? Kind of how they've improved over these last couple of games.
Yeah, man. I think we put them in a tough position, definitely in the start of the year. And they just been growing and learning as the season goes on, and it's awesome to see kind of the role that they stepped into, and in games like these, when I'm getting, I think they were like a box and one for a majority of it. I'm getting face guarded, like I kind of just looked at them. I'm like, all right, like y'all gotta take over a little bit, like you guys gotta create, and I think they did an excellent job tonight. And they've been doing a great job in the last probably 10 games, honestly. So it's awesome to see that growth with how young they are, and I just can't wait for them to get older and see what the potential is there.
Do we have any other questions for Shay? No other questions? All right, thanks, Shay.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. I've got Indiana head coach Terry Moren here. She will go ahead and make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
Well, it was a very slow and rough start, for us. Very frustrated by our turnovers, particularly in the first half. I mean, just unacceptable for just careless. I thought we got them into halftime, talked a lot about it didn't matter what we were running if we couldn't take care of the ball. They were trying to junk it up a little bit on Shay. I thought they were very physical. We didn't meet that physicality in the first half. I thought we did a much better job in the second. Once we got into the second half, I thought, again, back and forth in the third, we adjusted to the physical piece of it. And then, just felt like down the stretch, I thought Journey came in and she was probably the most important player of the game, to be honest with you. I know Maya was terrific, hit some big shots. Shay was good. I thought Nevaeh pushed the pace much better in the second half, and that was critical. But I thought when Journey came in, I just felt like, she just did some really, really good things for us in the short amount of time she was in there, but they were critical moments, and gave us some life, especially with the push all the way to the rim in the N1. That was really big for us. I thought that gave us some life.
Seth, go ahead.
Terry, you talked about the turnovers, and obviously that's been something that's kind of given you guys trouble all season long. But there, so many games you guys have had trouble with that. It's not been it's just gone on all game, and you guys finished with like 25 or something like that. Tonight, obviously, you were headed on that track, and then you guys were able to flip the switch and kind of get it together and took much better care of the ball in the second half. How were you guys able to flip that switch and kind of make tonight different than all those other games?
Yeah, if I remember, I think we had 14 at half, and then we only turned it over 4 more times in the second half. Again, Seth, it was just a hard conversation at halftime, about just some of the careless things that we were doing, coming across the timeline and trying to, punch that thing into to Adessa. Like Shay did it, and Adessa wasn't even ready for the ball. So they were very uncharacteristic things. And as I said to, Bo and Shay at halftime, like out of our 14 turnovers, the two of you who are veterans or kind of, Bo's really not a vet, but I always feel like she's a vet, have 7 of our turnovers. So half of our turnovers are, you guys like, and then the rest of you, Nevaeh, Maya, like two, so just doing some, again, and I don't know if I feel like it might have been just how physical they were, very physical with us. And I think that took us a whole half to kind of adjust to it. And then have, get into halftime where we could just say, look, you guys got to be so much stronger with the ball. They can't speed you up. And we gotta stop doing the things that are not characteristic. They're uncharacteristic of us in our offense. And so, I thought that they did a much better job, no doubt. Because as I told them, you're not going to walk out of here with a win if you turn this thing over another 14 times.
Max, go ahead.
Coach, Adessa made a season high in rebounds today with 15, including quite a few offensive rebounds there down the stretch when you were leading. So how big was that in order to seal out the game?
Well, again, she's really come along, here, as of late for us. Particularly, I think her focus has been, trying to get, defensive rebounds, but also, her offensive rebounds were really big for us tonight. Just being in the right place at the right time. She has a good touch around the rim when she can face up like that. And so, we needed, trust me, we needed every point, that she could provide, but, and all of them. But, it's been nice to see Adessa have some success, particularly rebounding. Because if there's one thing that I bark at her the most about, it's rebounding, whether it's offensive, defensive rebounding, keeping her man that she's guarding off the glass, offensive glass, and the other side of that. Like, you got to try to get us some second, third shot opportunities because we're sprinting 4 back. She's the only one that has the opportunity, to get to the offensive glass. And so, it's good to see her come up with some of those. But, I thought the bigger ones were on the defensive side.
Chase, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. an incredible month. I mean, you came into the month of February with no wins in the Big Ten. You now sit at 5. USC was a close game. That could have been a win, but you have one game left on the schedule before the Big Ten tournament. Do you feel the importance of the games going into them? And if so, going into the next one, how do you manage to stay the course?
Yeah, well, here's what I'll tell you, Chase. So I do feel like we're playing better. These guys understand what they have to do in order to get into the Big Ten tournament. That shouldn't be pressure. We're playing better basketball. I think they feel it, which is the most important thing, right? But what I'm going to tell you is we can't come out like we did tonight against Penn State and think that we're good, right? We just can't do that. And so our sense of urgency, our focus, our ability to take better care of the ball, discernment for what a good shot is for us, like, it all matters. And so if this was a great wake-up call, I think, for our group, because I don't know, as I said to them, if they thought they were just going to come in. The Big Ten is not built that way. You can't go into anybody's home floor in the Big Ten and think it's just going to be easy. You scrap all the records, right? I don't look at that. Our kids shouldn't look at that. I know they do. They're guilty of that, and so we can't have the start we did tonight against Penn State at home on Saturday, and so. Might have been good for us to again get out of here with a win. Absolutely, I'm happy. I'm proud of our players. But it was a wake up call on, look, these next 2 games, take all that out of it. Just because it's not UCLA, it's not Michigan, it's not Michigan State. The same kind of focus and energy and effort and enthusiasm that you have to play those teams at the top, you have to have in the middle and who's ever at the end of this. So we got to do a much better job. I mean, they had a great win tonight against USC, right? So if that doesn't get our attention, I don't know what will.
Seth, go ahead.
Yeah, Terry, obviously, with you guys, not having the type of season this year that you've become accustomed to, around here, fighting to make the Big Ten tournament, is this kind of like, not obviously, if you guys get in, you still have more basketball to play, but are you guys kind of able to view this as, kind of that benchmark to clear, kind of that thing where, something where, if you can get in, you can exhale for a second and say, you guys did this, you guys pulled this off? Or is that, knowing the standard that you guys have set for so long, is that more kind of something like, you expect to be able to get in and then keep going and then kind of put yourselves where you have been?
Yeah, I don't know if I can answer that, Seth. I mean, as far as, I talk to them and, whether we're in the tournament, and this is years, right? Not when this is uncommon for us to have the year we're having, but I'm always very transparent with our players and our team about what has to happen. And so we had that discussion, going down the stretch before we played Oregon. Like we gotta beat Oregon, we gotta beat Rutgers. I feel like we gotta beat Penn State. And that's just to get in the Big Ten tournament. And then after that, that becomes a whole new season for us. That's how I've always tried to break it down for our players. And so the standard absolutely is to be in the NCAA tournament. This has been not a major, but has been an uncommon season for us. And so what I'm trying to do right now, and what we've just been trying to do is we continue to teach, and we continue to really just stress that the experience that we're getting is still so important, right, to our program moving forward. And that's going to be in the Big Ten tournament, and that's going to be beyond. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's not, again, I think we could all agree, it's not the standard for our program, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of basketball to be played. And we're going to approach every game like it's the most important game. And that's how we're going to go about, whatever's next for us. And the next most important game is Penn State.
All right.